Hi everyone, I'm just letting a few people join. Okay. Okay, people are slow to join today, or my network is not picking up who's joined the live. So I'm just going to start a chat. Yeah, about things that happened this week, things that crossed my desk this week. And then I'll answer a few questions if I do get any. So this week, it's been quite a busy week with missing pets. I've had quite a few questions about missing birds. The consensus from those who have lost birds is that they seem to come back pretty easily, according to a lot of people I've noticed and a few people I've chatted to. And what they mentioned was that birds seem to come to calls that they used to at home, and that makes complete sense to me because of the flight or fight response. And yeah, they would make sense of that, they would find comfort in that, and they would come to you. So that was one tip that really stood out this week with missing birds. Welcome to everybody who's joined. If you would like to ask a question, please do. So, yeah, I don't have a moderator today for questions, so please give me time if I don't notice your question. I will try and answer it. If I don't answer it, wait until the video has gone public, and I will answer it in the main question section. Okay, so yeah, that was one thing that comes through. I won't be answering religious questions. Questions you can ask about animal communication, missing pets, animal souls, that kind of thing. Yeah, I will not be answering any religious questions. Okay, so another thing that crossed my desk this week is that animal souls, actually. Now, I'd like to mention something before I continue with that. I am running a competition on rainbow bridge readings. So if you take a rainbow bridge reading, if you purchase a rainbow bridge reading, you'll be entered into a competition to win a memorial video of your crossed over fur kid. So yeah, if you take that Rainbow Bridge reading, I'll ask you to send photographs of your fur child, quotes that you maybe want to add, and I create a video for you. So I actually did one of those yesterday of a Rainbow Bridge reading that I did this week, and I created a poem from the communication I did, and I asked for some insights from the fur mom, and she gave me that. And with those insights and the communication, the poem came about, and I created a video with all the photos. And yeah, she left a comment on Instagram saying she really loved that video. So you can have a look on my website. The links are in my channel's bio and in my social media bio. The video is there on the memorial page, but it's also on this channel and on my socials, and you can have a look. I now do pet memorials from very simple planning where I don't physically do a video for you, or I do a Google Meets meeting for you. I can, so from the planning stage to the end result, posting a video for you on the channel so it can be played during the service, just to give you comfort when your pets cross over. Now, what happened in a meeting this week is that one of the pets I did a communication for passed rather tragically, and that is never easy. It's exceptionally traumatizing for pet parents when their fur kid passes under a traumatic circumstance or an accident. A lady said to me, you know what, a friend actually read for me, and this friend does communications, and she was brutal. She said my pet hasn't crossed on. She's exceptionally angry with me, angry with my partner, and there's a lot of guilt and stress and hurt, and yeah, it's terrible the way this affected this person. Once again, I will not be answering religious questions. So if you're going to ask religious questions on this live, this is not the channel for you. Please go to another live. Anyway, back again about souls. What actually happens when a soul crosses over is that as pets and as humans, we find peace. We are greeted with people who loved us, pets who loved us. So in the sense of a pet, oh my gosh, we have some nasty people in the comments, don't we? I really, really wonder what they like to the people they supposedly love, because wow, precious little people. Little is the ultimate word. Anyway, I won't give them any more time. Let's go back to speaking about souls. And yes, we find extreme peace. Our pets find extreme peace. Now, whether they cross over knowing somebody or not knowing somebody, sometimes like your parents can show up and be there for a pet of yours that crossed over. because they would care enough about you to know how much this animal meant to you, to give that animal peace in their crossing over. Now, what happens when a pet crosses over and there is a trauma? They are sometimes actually taken before that trauma occurs. Now, why does that happen? Because we are souls, we have soul contracts, and sometimes a pet can decide before they come to you how they are going to live their life and how they are going to pass. Because ultimately, the way they pass and the way they live their lives is a lesson to you. That is really important to you and to them. Okay? So, our pets come into our lives to be able to teach you a lesson. And it's really important to them that they are able to carry that lesson across to you. Okay? So if they pass tragically, that might be part of the lesson. I know that's sometimes really hard to hear, but it might be part of the lesson. And because sometimes it's part of the lesson, their soul is taken so they don't experience that trauma. And they are given that opportunity to have peace, which is really special because animals are empaths and naturally, unconditionally loving. That happens. Now, I know from humans' point of view, I did a course quite a while ago now, and the lady doing the course said she did a human communication for somebody's daughter who was in an accident and she was actually decapitated in the accident. What actually happens is that her soul was taken before that tragedy occurred. So she never felt that. She never experienced that trauma. It was a choice on how she chose to pass away, but she never felt that pain. So that is what happens with animals as well. They don't feel that pain. You go over and you feel complete peace. You go over and you feel completely forgiving. You don't feel anger towards people like that. You don't want to attack people for the way you passed, because once you cross over, you understand in a different way. We as humans might be angry, and as an animal communicator, you pick up what the soul feels, and the soul feels complete forgiveness. The soul does not feel anger. Now, as an animal communicator, if we communicate to somebody that your pet feels extremely angry at you and they do not forgive you for what happened in that tragedy, that is not only unethical, but it is wrong. That is your feelings as a human. And if you cannot separate your feelings as a human from the animal communicating with you, it's unethical and you are not practicing correctly. You need to be able to separate your anxieties from how you communicate with people. So that is actually what I teach in my course. I teach people to communicate with their own pets, and I also do a certificated course to teach people how to communicate with other people's pets. What is ethical? What is not ethical? I do cover questions like what happens to the soul and how to communicate that with kindness. Because ultimately, when somebody comes to you for a communication, they are looking for healing, they are looking for some form of counseling and some way of being able to actually get past that hurt, that tragedy, that death. Um, the communication can be, say, for behavior, and they need to be able to understand in that communication how to help their family, because ultimately behavior communications come as a way for your family to grow. Okay, you are able to help your pets behave better, but maybe something you are doing may be triggering them to behave in such a way. So we have to understand our pets' mental health to help them behaviorally. Okay, and we need to be able to communicate that with kindness. That is why I don't tolerate any nasty comments on my lives. It's boundaries, and our pets have boundaries too. Okay, we need to be able to respect people and our families, respect their boundaries as an individual, respect a family's boundaries as a unit. And that is why communication is so important when it comes to behavior, when it comes to grief. So many people just don't know how to respect boundaries, and it's hurtful and it's rude. So, yeah, um, if you have had a communication where somebody has communicated with you that a soul is angry with you, or you have done wrong in a crossover, that is unethical, that is unkind. And I'm saying to you to maybe contact somebody else who has a heart centered practice and has the ability to counsel you and care for you and give you that assistance to help you with grief. Now, excuse me, I have a little tail over here. Um, he's very happy to see his mom who came home from work. Yeah, so when it comes to grief, we need counseling. And sometimes when it comes to behavior and general animal communications, we need counseling too. And I am trained as a lay counselor, so I do know how to handle these things. Um, I'm not doing it to comfort you from the truth. And I have done studies on how pets behave. I have done courses on the afterlife. I have read many books on the afterlife. Um, and I am communicating across to you what I have learned to be the truth. And for a soul to be angry with you, there's no way. They only want peace for you. Your pets only want peace for you. They only want kindness from you. They only want you to be able to navigate that huge loss or that issue that you're going through with kindness and with care. I think that is the biggest message this week is that kindness is really, really important, and care is really important, and that people are going through a lot right now. There's a war going on in the world. There's possibly petrol shortages. Petrol is going up, which means the cost of living is going up, and we have a lot going on. We really don't need people venting their own emotions over our experiences that have got nothing to do with them on us. If you feel a certain way about somebody else's experience, that's a you problem. It's not for you to vent about what they are experiencing. If I have experienced a deep loss, I am allowed to vent. I don't want somebody to vent at me because of the way I'm navigating a trauma or tragedy. I want somebody to give me peace and care. And that is what I want to give to people in the communications that I give. And I feel that every communicator should have some counseling knowledge. And that if you do have anxieties, like right now, my life is exceptionally traumatizing, exceptionally anxious. But when it comes to my communications, I put my anxiety, my obnoxious anxiety aside, okay, to actually help other people, because I understand what that need is. I don't know who you are, but you're going to be blocked from this chat. So yeah, you can go and comment your numbers, but you're going to be blocked from this chat. Yeah, people need care in this life, and they do not need nastiness, and they do not need trolls like those commenting here. Yeah, they need reassurance and care and comforts. When it comes to social media and trolling, people are really, really thoughtless about what they say. And, you know, it's cruel. It really is cruel. And sometimes I actually just don't have words. You don't really have a right to comment on somebody else's life. Only they have a right to comment on that. If you want to say something to somebody in their lives, I think you should be kind and try and give comfort wherever you go. My personal feeling and personal motto in life is to leave somebody better than I find them. And I think that is something that everybody should look up to, and everybody should try to do. I think living with integrity is exceptionally important in today's day and age, because there are so many people who don't live with integrity. And that is why I choose to do my communications with integrity. So yeah, thank you to those who did join this live and got something out of it. And I'm sorry to you that I've had to deal with some nasty comments, but I do hope that you got something from this. And once again, if you do have questions about animal souls or missing pets, please don't hesitate to ask. If your question is really good, I will put it on my page as a post during this week or next week. If I see that there's value in it, and I could write a blog about it, I will do so. I find the more I can help people, the more valuable my experience is. Just to end off once again, if you get a Rainbow Bridge communication from me, I am running a competition for those people. And I will be giving away a few videos during the course of the month to the people who have communications. It would have to be a full communication and not the 5 questions in my pricing, so I can actually chat to you and get a feel about you, so I can bring that across in the video I create for you. If you would like to see the videos that I've done, I posted one to my socials yesterday, and I posted one to my websites. I only have bookings available for next week, so if you would like a booking, please get onto that as soon as possible. Yeah. And that's where we will end off today. I do hope that you got something from the video, and yeah, I'd hope to be doing videos once a week, lives, if there is something to chat about that crosses my desk like it did this week. I hope you have a super weekend, and yeah, see you next week's live.